Kent State is one win away from a title. Does the soccer team get the job done against Ohio?
Ohio State hit the road Saturday to take on a scrappy Rutgers squad. Can the Buckeyes escape New Jersey with a win?
And the Browns look to get back on track against the Cardinals. Find out if today is a victory Monday in Cleveland. The Sports Corner starts right now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome into Sports Corner. I'm Liv Sharp. That's Blake Goloja. And yesterday was a championship Sunday here in the Tree City.
The Golden Flashes soccer and field hockey teams competed in the MAC title games as they were looking to bring some hardware back to Kent.
Starting things off with soccer, after upsetting the one-seeded Western Michigan Broncos, the Golden Flashes soccer squad faced off against the Ohio Bobcats in Kalamazoo with a championship on the line. Kent State took the lead early thanks to freshman Elena Raimondo as she scored in the third minute. The Flashes, however, could not hold the lead as the Bobcats scored 2 goals in the first 20 minutes of the second half and took home the MAC championship. Despite the loss, juniors Elisa Arthur and Siana Stambolic took home MAC All-Tournament honors alongside senior Callie Cunningham.
From one championship to the next, the women's field hockey team took on the one-seeded Miami Redhawks for the MAC title after their semifinal victory in overtime against Appalachian State. After a scoreless first quarter, the Redhawks put up the first goal just 2 minutes before halftime off of a rebound shot from Reese Warren. The Redhawks, capitalizing on this momentum, netted 2 more goals in the second half to take a commanding 3-0 lead. The Flashes finally scored thanks to a penalty corner converted by sophomore Emma Rolston, but it was too little too late as the Golden Flashes fell by the final of 3-1. Rolston was one of 3 Flashes awarded with all MAC tournament honors, and sophomores Iris Becker and Patricia Strunk were also honored.
After their loss to Buffalo, the Golden Flashes traveled to InfoCision Stadium to take on that school down the road. The Flashes took control early and took a 27-10 lead over the Zips. Even from a 3-touchdown night from Tommy Ulatowski in his first game back from injury, the effort from him and the Flashes was not enough as the Zips scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to defeat Kent State with a score of 31-27. The Flashes will welcome the Bowling Green Falcons, hoping to snap their 6-game losing streak. Here's head coach Kenny Burns after the game.
Yeah, disappointing loss, obviously. Got to play better, got to play 4 quarters. We got to coach for 4 quarters, and it wasn't good enough. So we've got to learn from it and get better. But obviously disappointed, not what we expected at all. But we didn't play 4 quarters. We talked about starting fast, accelerated minutes, finish strong. We didn't finish strong, and it was clear as day. So we got to do better. And then guys, we had some guys go down, and guys got to step up, and they got to play. And everybody wants an opportunity until they get an opportunity. You get the opportunity, you got to perform, and we didn't do that.
Taking things inside the MAC Center, Kent State volleyball dropped 2 sets at the hands of the Central Michigan Chippewas over the weekend. The Flashes fell in 3 sets on Friday and fell in 4 sets on Saturday after winning the first set. Central Michigan has won their 6th match in a row as they now improve their record to 14-13. Kent State will have their final road match of the year against Eastern Michigan on Friday and Saturday.
For the first time this season, let's hit the mats. Kent State Wrestling had their first invitation of the year Sunday and finished 9th out of 29 teams. Pablo Castro led the way as he finished 6th in the 133-pound division. Up next for the Flashes is a tri-meet with West Virginia and Duke in Morgantown. And a little update at halftime, Kent State leading 36-33 against Malone University.
It's playoff time for high school football, and TV2 Sports was all over Northeast Ohio to cover the area's top matchups. Let's now go around high school football. Kicking things off, we head out to Tom Benson Stadium at the Hall of Fame. St. Ignatius taking on McKinley. Senior quarterback Heaton Road hands it off to Nino Hill, who takes off like a shot and brings it 20 yards to the house to put the Bulldogs up 7-0 in the first quarter. Josh Papesh unprepared for that snap, and he goes back to catch it, but that could have spelled disaster with the Bulldogs hot on his heels. Ignatius with a field goal, they trail 14-3. Rowe drops back. He's looking end zone, but he ends up with a pick. But he's going to redeem himself here. They're in the exact same spot, but this time he connects with Keith Quincy, who bobbles the pass a little bit, but reels it in to put McKinley up 21-3 in the second quarter. Ignatius has to respond if they have any hope of staying in this game, and they do, with Papesh uncorking and hitting Gus Magner for a big touchdown to trail 21-10 going into the half. In the third, the Wildcats looking to strike back. Papesh connects with Quinn Wojtke, but he loses the ball while getting tackled, and Quincy is quick to scoop it up. So the Bulldogs get possession. Ignatius charges down the field, and Papesh fires to Jonathan Merrimee, and now the Wildcats trail 21-17 in the third. 1st and 10 inside the red zone. Papesh connects again with Merrimee, and the Wildcats lead 24-21. McKinley will not go quietly, looking to strike back. Rode with the high snap, evades the sack, directs traffic, and fires and connects to set the Bulldogs up at the 1. Rode with a little catch and pitch action to Quincy, who puts his head down and powers his way into the end zone. But the ball comes loose, but is recovered in the end zone. The Bulldogs retake the lead 28-24 with under a minute left in the fourth. A Hail Mary attempt from the Wildcats comes up with an interception, and McKinley wins it 28-24 and advances to face St. Ed's in the semifinals.
Well, that was a super exciting game, and this was another one of those as Wadsworth was taking on the Medina Bees. The oldest rivalry in Medina County starts with a Grizzly touchdown by senior quarterback Will Stack. Nice job on getting to the outside and reaching for that pylon, but Medina's going to answer back real quick. A blistering run after the catch from Jack Wojciak, the 6'2", 210-pound receiver, showing he's got some speed too. Here's one of 2 passing touchdowns Stack threw today. A quick screen out to Gavin Madigan, and he does the rest, taking it in for 6. Quarterback Danny Stoddard's going to toss it over to Cooper Yosefchek, who runs it in from 8 yards out. This one was back and forth all night. Wadsworth in the red zone now is going to throw it up, and Augie Titus does his best OBJ impression, hauling it in with one hand. A spectacular catch from the Grizzly wide receiver. Now it's time for Medina's turn for a good catch. That's Jack Wojciak again. He had himself a game. 2 receiving touchdowns for him. Wadsworth trying to stay in this one. Stack throwing it up, but he overthrows it into a swarm of bees, and Aiden Ruiz comes away with the interception, and Medina wins it 22-19.
Finally, we've got the Hoban Knights taking on the Barberton Magics. Let's get things started, folks. Tylen Boykin, the juice is loose. He's going to roll right and pass it to Jalen Hightower, who takes off like a shot. Just 2 plays, and Hoban has already scored. They are up 6-0 with 7 minutes and 34 seconds still left in the first. Dominic Wilson is going to drop back looking for Angelo Harper, but it is intercepted by Albert Hill IV, and that's a magic trick that Wilson just wants to forget. He's got to hit the clean celly there too. Boykin hands it off to Brayton Feister for a long touchdown run, untouched 55 yards to the house. Hoban is going to extend its lead 20-zip, and Hoban, they are not done yet. Boykin will fake the handoff and throws it up to Hightower. They're just having fun at this point with some creative play calling. He is wide open for the easy touchdown, and Hoban leads 27-0. The Magics will eventually make their way into the red zone. Wilson is looking for his man, Angelo Harper. With the wild one-handed catch, Harper reels it in, and he's working a little bit of magic to make the loss a little lighter as they get their first and only points of the day as they trail 27-7. The ensuing kickoff, John Jeffries Jr. will take it all the way to the house, 80 yards. That puts an exclamation point on the victory for Hoban as they get a 41-7 win over the Barberton Magics. They will advance to play Riverside in the next round.
We know we got a tougher team next week, either Riverside or Twinsburg. Those are 2 tough teams, so we got to come prepared to practice this week, and that's where it starts. Practice, and we got to be able to just execute.
He's getting better each week. He's turned into a quarterback. He started 16 games at corner last year and is a Power 5 corner that hasn't played corner yet this year as a junior. So he's the epitome of team, and he's the epitome of what Hoban football stands for. And we're proud of him, and he's getting better each week.
It was an exciting round of playoffs for high school football as Riverside knocking off Twinsburg 42-30. Chardon taking out Geneva 28-14. Massillon with a big game over Westerville South 50-7. Put them up 50 there. That's awesome. Aurora just beating Gilmer. That was a great game, 30-27. And West Branch also just knocking off Streetsboro 31-28.
Well, we've got round 3 coming up this weekend. Canton-McKinley facing St. Edwards. Riverside facing Hoban. We're looking at some regional semifinal games going on this week. The McKinley Bulldogs, I talked about them earlier. They're going to clash with the reigning champs, the St. Ed's Eagles from Byersfield and Parma. Riverside, they ended off Twinsburg's first playoff run since 2011. They're going to face a very tough test, the Archbishop Hoban Knights. Ironically, they are at Twinsburg Tiger Stadium. Medina is going to take on Cleveland Heights in Strongsville. With quarterback Danny Stoddard's status, it's up in the air. He had an injury at that Wadsworth game. The Bees are going to have to slow down the Tigers' 4-star running back Marquise Davis. And the undefeated Massillon Tigers will battle the Lake Blue Streaks at our producer Matt Corrali's alma mater, Hoover High in North Canton. How you doing, Hoover High? Finally, the Hudson Explorers will look to slow the Warriors of Walsh Jesuit in Ravenna.
It's a great slate of games to look forward to, and it was another college football Saturday to remember. We will tell you why when we go campus to campus.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. Ohio State played their first game as the #1 team in America, but they are playing a tough game against Rutgers on the road. Let's find out if they come out on top. Ryan Day looking to stay undefeated as the Buckeyes head coach this season. He's got a great receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll see him a little later, but first, Kyle McCord's going to get it started to G. Scott from 14 yards out as a touchdown. A little trickery here from Rutgers. They need something to take out the #1 team. It's a fake fumble, and Kyle Manungai gets it all the way to the 11-yard line. Very great play there, but Ohio State defense holds firm in the red zone, and they hold Rutgers to a 22-yard field goal. This is a big swing play here as Jack Proctor delivers a big blow to Manungai. Ball's tipped, and Jordan Hancock's taking it all the way back. 93-yard pick six for the Buckeyes. As that taking the lead in the third quarter. 14-9, Travion Henderson, 9 yards out, 22 carries, 128 yards, and a touchdown for the junior out of Hopewell, Virginia. Another great game for him. Wimsett is going to have all day in the pocket, and he's going to throw it up to Jaquay Jackson, who makes a grown man's play, bringing that one down for the touchdown. Rutgers staying close. It's been too long since we called this man's name, Marvin Harrison. He reels it in on the back shoulder fade and wins it for Ohio State.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Shanko, and I'm going to be your captain as we fly from campus to campus on this beautiful Monday night. We started in Piscataway. Let's take it out to the West Coast as we start with a big-time game in the Pac-12. It's Caleb Williams and USC. It's Michael Penix in Washington, and that is Caleb Williams' 10th rushing touchdown of the year to put USC on top, 14-7. Now, Michael Penix, it's a 3rd and 18 for him. He does a great Caleb Williams impression, rolling to his left, and he puts some magic on this ball, an absolute moonshot of a throw, and that is Devin Culp, who brings it in from 22 yards. Take a look at that. Wow, he gets both feet down. That's good on Sundays, and it's all knotted at 14. Now it's 21-14, the Trojans back on top, and Penix gives to Dylan Johnson, and this is some 7-on-7 crime. Dylan Johnson takes it to Kalen Bullock, gets inside the pylon, and that's a 52-yard touchdown. We'll see more from Dylan Johnson later. He had himself a day. Now here's a little trickeration from the Trojans. Zachariah Branch pitches back to Williams, and there's Taj Washington wide open down the sideline, and that's one you have to see twice. Branch comes around, takes the jet motion, and he runs backwards like he's going to cut back to the other side of the field, and Williams takes the pitch and has a wide open man. Penix, he's got to respond. He's done it all year. Here is a seed to Jalen Polk, The other half of Washington's dynamic wide receiver duo in this game is tied as we head to the break. Washington is up 7 now, and it's a 4th and 1. No field goal for USC. They're going to throw it to the end zone. And just like his dad, Brendan Rice, making his father proud, that's a touchdown on 4th down. And it's tied again, 42-35 now. Williams, it's 1st and 10 this time, but it's the same side of the end zone, and it's another touchdown. That's Mario Williams, and this game is tied at 42. USC has the Huskies backed up, but this is a pitch to Dylan Johnson, and like I said before, he had himself a day. This one would go for 53, and he finished with 26 carries for 256 yards, and not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns. The Mississippi State transfer had himself a night, and like I said, this is the 4th of those touchdowns, and that would seal the deal. Washington wins it 52-42 in a thriller. They stay unbeaten and control their destiny in the Pac-12.
And now we have the 18th and seemingly final bedlam before Oklahoma heads to the SEC. Let's get into it. Alan Bowman hands it off to Ollie Gordon II, who finds an opening, takes off, and leaps for the pylon to get the Cowboys on the board first. Great tough run, and OSU leads 7-0. Sooners looking to strike back and will do so with Gavin Sawchuk. He hits the 50, and he knows there is not a single person who is going to be able to catch him. Sawchuk goes 64 yards for the tutty, and we are all tied up at 7. Sooners running back Javonte Barnes takes the direct snap, but bobbles, then fumbles the ball, and Oklahoma University recovers. Just looks like he really wasn't prepared for that one. He is a running back after all, but maybe not so much of a future at QB for Barnes. And the Cowboys will end up capitalizing on that fumble. Bowman keeps it and has a rocky run to the end zone, but he makes it, and OSU puts another 6 on the board. Absolutely difficult run. Sooners want to prevent that, but not much luck there. 1st and goal for the Sooners. They trail by 10. Dylan Gabriel fakes the run and hits Drake Stoops, who is all alone in the end zone, and the deficit is now cut to 3. Great throw and great catch. Sooners making this final bedlam interesting. Later in the 3rd, Tawee Walker takes the handoff and takes off to the end zone, and Oklahoma takes their first lead up 21-17 in the 3rd quarter with 8:05 left to play in the 3rd. 1st and goal for the Cowboys. Bowman hands it off to Gordon, who muscles his way into the end zone, and OSU retakes the lead in the 4th. He gets tackled, but he just kind of drags his defender into the end zone with him. Cowboys now lead 24-21 with a minute left. A last-ditch effort for the Sooners. Gabriel looking for an open man, but that pass is incomplete, and it's a turnover on downs. Oklahoma State will come away with the win in the 118th bedlam, and you already know where that goalpost is going. It's coming down, and it's getting carried over to the Theta Pond. Oklahoma State completes the upset, taking down the number 9 ranked Sooners 27-24. What a game.
That was a fun one and a terrific upset by OSU. And you know who's going to try to follow suit with that? Kansas State, as they take on Texas. Texas at home, and it's Malik Murphy making the first play, and an absolute dime to Adonai Mitchell, 37 yards out, getting the Longhorns on the board first as he just gets past that cornerback and reels it in. Texas deciding to go for it on 4th down, hands it off to C.J. Baxter and decides he wants more than just the first down. He'll take 6 with it too, 54 yards out, and the Longhorns pull ahead by 17 in the 2nd. But Will Howard says, hold on, wait a minute, we're going to get right back in this. Kansas State gets that touchdown with 60 seconds left in the first half. Great route by Phillip Brooks there, the 3rd to bring it in. Jonathan Brooks, no relation there, is going to run it in for Texas. He had 112 rushing yards on the day. Great one for him. Phillip Brooks, watch the tippy toe, stays in bounds, spin, touchdown. Kansas State, watch that one again. I don't know how you keep the feet in bounds. Terrific balance by Brooks for the touchdown. 14-27 now. Nobody picks up Keegan Johnson on the slant route, and Howard finds him for 6. Kansas State slowly clawing their way back, trying to knot it up. This one being down a 17. Jace Brown hauls it in off the play action, and all of a sudden we have ourselves a game. All they need to do is kick the extra point to take the lead, but it's snapped when the holder's not looking, and the extra point is no good. So now Kansas State needs the field goal to tie it up to go into overtime, and Jake Bloomer, or that's the holder, Bert Auburn, gets this one to go for Texas in overtime, 33-30. And instead of Kansas State tying this one up in overtime, they're going to say, let's go for the win. Let's see what happens. He's going to slip and fall, and Texas just hangs on to their lead and wins it 30-33. Texas outrushed Kansas State 230-33 yards in this one to improve to 8-1 on the year.
Well, the first college football playoff rankings of the year were released on Tuesday, and this is how they look. The Buckeyes start at number 1. We'll see if it changes after the win against Rutgers, which saw the Scarlet Knights hang around in the first half. Georgia, Michigan, and Florida State round out the top 4. Big story from 5 through 10 is Ole Miss sneaking in at that number 10 spot. We're going to welcome Ryan Shanko back to the desk to talk some college football. Ryan, after this week, who would you have in your 4-team playoff?
I mean, Liv, we're kind of running out of time to talk about a 4-team playoff, expansion coming next year. But right now, for me, in a 4-team format, number 1, it's got to be Georgia. I think until they lose, you can't take Georgia out of that number 1 spot. Second, for me, it's Ohio State. They're number 1 in the CFP rankings. I understand why wins against Penn State and at Notre Dame, great wins. But I don't think their resume is quite as good as Georgia's, who just doesn't lose. Michigan is 3 for me, but despite all the controversy going on, they're still the 3rd best team in the country. And at 4, it's Washington. We just saw them in a highlight. They're undefeated. They've beaten Oregon, and I think they have a playoff team this season.
So, Ryan, you touched on that expanded playoff format coming. What are your feelings about that?
Man, I cannot wait for the expanded playoff. It's going to be just so much fun. I am thrilled. We're going to see on-campus playoff games. That's going to be great for the fans of those schools. Going to be great financially for those programs to get to host those games. We're going to see smaller schools getting opportunities to make a splash in the playoff, and that means upsets. And of course, more football. We're going to have 12 teams in the playoffs, and that means bonus ball for everyone as the season comes to a close. And I don't know anyone who wants to see that go away.
I mean, absolutely. More football, more happiness. As the season wraps up, who is your pick for the Heisman?
Well, it's going to be Michael Penix Jr. I think he's going to win it, but I want to talk about someone else. He stayed out of the spotlight this season. It's a guy we just saw in your highlight for Oklahoma State. It's Ollie Gordon II. This guy has been unbelievable this year. He's catapulted into Heisman odds following 6 consecutive 120-yard games, including a run of 3 in a row where he had 250 yards. That's almost 1,000 yards in 3 games. That's insane. It's unheard of. And I think we're seeing a budding superstar. I mean, this guy is writing his Genesis story right before our eyes. I think next year it's going to be a popular Heisman pick because this guy is only a sophomore. He'll be back next year to write another chapter of that story.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan. And with the return of Deshaun Watson, the Browns look to get back in the win column against the Cardinals. All of the action ahead.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Catch Kent Core Fridays at 9 p.m. TV2 Entertainment. See what's up.
The top defense in the NFL welcomed in a rookie quarterback in his first NFL start. Should be an easy win, right? But hey, this is Cleveland. Anything can happen. Let's go to the lakefront to see how it all went down. Deshaun Watson back as the starting QB. Let's see how he fares. 1st and 10, Watson fakes the handoff, sits pretty in the pocket, and uncorks to Amari Cooper way downfield. That goes 59 yards before he gets escorted out of bounds. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Rookie Clayton Tune getting his first start, and it did not go well. Denzel Ward cooking barbecue and hurting feelings with that pick. And you know what they say, 2 + 4 = 6, and that is exactly what Cooper and Watson got. Cleveland leads 10-zip. On 3rd and 4, Watson hits the Chief for another touchdown. Cleveland rolling up 20-0. Watson connecting well with Cooper. He had 139 yards. Here's 49 of them as he gets escorted out of bounds right around the 2 to 3 yard line. Sets up this 1st and goal, and Kareem Hunt is cooking. Takes a big hit, but keeps pushing into the end zone for 6, and that will do it. The Browns take care of business at home and get their first shutout since 2007 to the tune of 27-0.
What's going on, guys? I'm Katie Waggle. I'm here to take you around the NFL. We begin our adventure in Houston with the Texans taking on the Buccaneers. Here we go. Smith and Ryans looking to get a win for their respective teams. First, Texans drive. C.J. Stroud finds Dalton Schultz, fumbles it, and Winfield Jr. falls on it around the 42. Later, Chase McLaughlin makes a 35-yard field goal, making it 3-0 for the Bucs. Texans get their ball back, driving down. Stroud finds Nico Collins for the touchdown, 7-3 Houston. Bucs have the first and goal. Baker Mayfield finds tight end Cade Otton, making it 10-7 for Tampa Bay. Second quarter, Richard White takes it up the middle to extend the Tampa Bay lead, 17-7. And with the second half here, Bucs up 20-10. Stroud finds wide receiver Noah Brown. Brown takes it all the way to the house, 75 yards down the sideline. The Texans cut closer, 20-16. Houston on the move again. Stroud sends up a rainbow to Tank Dell. Houston making it a 1-point affair, 23-22 Tampa Bay. Let's go to the fourth. Stroud finds Schultz for a second time, and Houston gets back on top, 28-22. Texans go for two. Stroud reaches across the goal line for the second score and makes it a 7-point game, 30-23 Houston now. Bucs ball back. Baker sends a missile to his old friend Mike Evans. 2 plays later, it's Richard White again. His second touchdown ties it. Houston gets a field goal to go up 3, but Baker finds Cade Otton for the lead with less than a minute to go. 37-33, Tampa Bay's up, but what can C.J. Stroud do? He finds Dell again for the last second score. Baker cannot believe it as Stroud throws 470 yards, the most by a rookie in a game.
Now to an NFC East showdown as the 7-1 Eagles try to keep separation from the 5-2 Dallas Cowboys. Kenneth Gainwell is going to get started off. Great duo running back right there between DeAndre Swift and Kenneth Gainwell as Gainwell finds the end zone. Dak to Jake Ferguson evens this one back up. Nice day for Ferguson. 7 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown from the tight end out of Wisconsin. And what a ball from Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith as both receivers, Eagles receivers are going to get in on the action. A.J. Brown, touchdown at number 6 on the season for him. Prescott's going to have all day and going to run outside the pocket and is going to find Jalen Tolbert, who toe taps for the passing touchdown, number 3 on the day for Dak. And this one is only a 5-point game. They're going to go for 2 to try to get this one to within 3. Dak's going to roll out, stretch for the pylon, and at first it looks like he's in. He fooled the line judge, but we'll take that look again as he steps out with that right foot, and that's going to cost them big time as instead of going for the field goal here, they have to go for the win, and they get oh so close. CeeDee Lamb down at the 5, and the Eagles hang on 28-23. Nick Sirianni is loving that his team is 8-1 and now holds the tiebreaker over the second place Dallas Cowboys.
And we say Guten Tag as we head over to Frankfurt, Germany to see the Chiefs taking on the Dolphins. Easily the most anticipated game of the week. 9:30 in the morning, 2nd and 10 for Kansas City. Pat Mahomes with a quick pass to Rashee Rice. And Blake, look at that. He just runs through a sea of white to get the touchdown. 3rd and 3 for the Chiefs. Mahomes dropping back, fires, hits Jerick McKinnon, and he sees open green and takes off to the end zone. Kansas City is rolling up 14-0. Now, the play of the game. Tua Tagovailoa checks it down to Tyreek Hill, but Trent McDuffie strips him of the ball. Mike Edwards scoops it up, then gets caught, so he laterals it to Brian Cook, who tiptoes down the sideline, up the tightrope to take it 59 yards to the house for the Chiefs touchdown. Look at this replay. Blake, I mean...
It's such a smart play by that Chiefs defender right there, getting that ball out and then taking it back. Very great play all around.
Miami trying to make this a game in the third. Tua with a deep pass to Cedric Wilson Jr. Amazing grab by Wilson, 31 yards, and the Dolphins now trail 21-7. Chiefs on 3rd and 20 trying to extend the lead, but instead Bradley Chubb comes up with a strip sack and the Dolphins take over at the Chiefs 27-yard line. 1st and 10 in the red zone. Tua pitches it to Raheem Mostert, who finds a hole, avoids countless tackles, and gets into the end zone. The Finns are knocking at the reigning champs' door, but KC will slam that door in their face after a disastrous drive, a sack on 2nd and 16, and with a minute left, Tua Tagovailoa almost becomes Tua turn the ball over as he drops the snap on 4th and 10. Maybe a bad snap there. I mean, I'll let you folks be the judge. But the Chiefs hold strong against the Dolphins and get the 21-14 win in Germany against the Dolphins. And Katie, with the NFL closing out Week 9 tonight, who do you think is up for Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Well, I'm going to start with the offense. I think the Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to be C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud has shown over and over again of actually how great of a quarterback he is, with some of the highest yards in a game for a rookie, especially coming off this last game against the Buccaneers. I have him down. For the Defensive Player of the Year, I have Jalen Carter. He's great on that Eagles defense. He just comes in, he has several sacks, more tackles. I think as his career goes on, he's just going to continue to build on what he's already started with the Eagles.
So who do you think the fakes and the greats are so far this season?
That's a very good question. The fakes and greats of this season. I'm going to start with the greats of this season. I think I've said it, and many others have said it more and more, time and time again. We have the Eagles. I mean, they've only lost one time this season. I believe they have something very strong coming off of last season. I'm just excited to see where they go for the rest of the season. Another great team is definitely the Ravens, with the Lamar Jackson having a 71 completion rate on his season. Some of the fakes, though, I'm going to have to go both AFC teams here. Both the Bills and the Dolphins are very disappointing for me, more so the Bills here, because Josh Allen with these repeated interceptions.
And Katie, if the season were to end tonight, what teams do you have facing off in Vegas for Super Bowl 58?
Honestly, in Vegas, I'm going to have the Ravens taking on the Eagles. Again, just going back with Lamar Jackson, he has a great percentage with completion. He has a great, offensive line in front of him. Eagles, same thing. I don't think we need to continue going on about the Eagles, but they are both good in front of the ball and behind the ball. Just with the Eagles, though, they just have to tighten up a little bit with a bunch of penalties.
Thank you so much, Katie. Well, as always, we've got Monday Night Football going on right now. The Chargers up 7-0 on the Jets. I know when we leave here, I'm going to go watch the Manning cast. They've got Arnold Schwarzenegger on tonight. Very exciting.
That does sound fun. Two familiar foes squared off on the hardwood Sunday. Find out if it was the Cavs or Warriors that prevailed in Cleveland.
The Agenda presents The Cheese-isode, Thursday, November 9th at 9 p.m. right here at KentWire.com. It's gonna be a good time.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Cavs and Warriors, a rivalry that is deep in the history in a new era. Who will take the first edition of Cleveland Golden State in 2023? Let's find out. A busy day for Cleveland as the Browns hosted the Cardinals at 1, and now the Cavs facing off against Steph Curry and the Warriors. Curry got hot from distance early as he went 7 for 11 from distance in this one. Right there was his first one, and he can dish the ball pretty well too. He finds Draymond Green in the corner, knocking down that corner tray. A little surprising, but if you're a Warriors fan, you'll love to see that. If you're a Cavs fan, you're used to seeing that. Donovan Mitchell knocking it down from deep in the land. Darius Garland with a great drive with the left hand and the foul on Draymond Green. Spectacular play by him. He finished with 7 assists also on the night. Donovan Mitchell, little magic trick for Klay Thompson. He shows him the ball and then it disappears over the head as a perfect layup with the left hand. Now, Max Strus on an island against Steph Curry. Nobody wants to be out there against that. Super hard to defend, and you see why. Warriors trying to make a comeback, clawing their way back. Jonathan Kuminga knocking down that three, but Spida Mitchell has other things in mind. Another terrific game from him, 31 points, some assists, including a beautiful pass, little Kevin Love-esque outlet there from Donovan Mitchell. Karis LeVert getting it done on the defensive side, putting this one away. Max Strus with emphasis. as the Cavs' first win against the Warriors since December 25th, 2016. 12 consecutive losses for them. Donovan Mitchell, 31 points, 7 assists.
It's a new era in Cleveland, and it's a new era for Victor Wembanyama out in San Antonio, showing off that wingspan as he grabs this pass and hits a jumper in the lane. Spurs have a 10-point lead, and Scotty Barnes outside the arc swings it to Dennis Schroeder, who dishes it right back to Barnes, who drives through the paint for the two-hand slam to bring the Raptors within 3 points. 45 seconds to go in regulation. Time is ticking down, and the Raptors go to their guy, Scotty Barnes, who hits a step-back three-pointer to tie it up at 108 with 37 seconds to play. Tied at 110 with under a second. Barnes with the rock misses the game-winning jumper, and we are headed to overtime. Extra basketball, folks. 3:12 left in overtime. Pascal Siakam passes to Jakob Poeltl, who passes back to Siakam. He considers his option, decides to drive to the basket, takes a shot, and Poeltl is quick to snag the rebound and put it up and in to put the Raptors ahead 115 to 112. Under 2 minutes in overtime, Dennis Schroeder with the icing on the cake. He had 24 points as the Raptors get the W over the Spurs 123 to 116, and I know you want to know, I wanted to know too. Wembanyama finished the game with 20 points.
A lot of exciting games in the association last night, and Charlotte Hornets visiting the Dallas Mavericks was no different. Dallas has a pretty good guard in Kyrie Irving as Dr. Drew finishes through the Brandon Miller foul, or the one. Now, Ball drives in, puts it up, puts it in over Luka Doncic. Luka doesn't like that call. He's going to chirp at the referee, and he's going to get a technical foul, and LaMelo Ball finishes that one. LaMelo Ball, great night for him, 30 points. As he was trying to will the Hornets over the Mavericks, but that's not going to help. Grant Williams knocking in the and 1-3. Great addition for the Mavericks there from Boston. Hornets trying to stay in this one. LaMelo Ball's going to take this one just outside of Dallas city limits, knocking it in and cutting the lead to 3. Tim Hardaway Jr. tries to go with the emphatic dagger. Instead, the ball gets away. Gordon Hayward picks it up, puts it in, and the Hornets still only down 3. Mavericks trying to put it away once again. Williams is going to run out of time here. That's going to be a shot clock violation, but it doesn't matter as the Mavericks win it 124 to 118. Luka finishes 23 points, 12 boards, 9 assists.
Finally, we have the Portland Trail Blazers taking on the 0-6 Memphis Grizzlies. Still looking for that elusive first win. Blazers up by 5. Malcolm Brogdon feeds Matisse Thybulle, who hits a clean three-pointer to extend the Portland lead to 8. Jeremy Grant, he's going to try it from 3. That's no good, but Thybulle will quickly corral the rebound, swing it over to Brogdon, and he is good from 3, and the Blazers keep it a healthy lead over the Grizzlies. Skylar Mays has the ball. He's going to fake it and drive through the paint and hit the one-hand slam. Bang! Portland leads this one by 9. We've got time ticking down in the first quarter. Big man Luke Kennard trying to pull the Grizzlies back. Hits a step back 3. That's good as gold, and the Grizzlies end the first down by 2. We jump to later in the second. Jaren Jackson Jr. takes down Grant to make the basket, and the Grizzlies now lead by 1. Jackson Jr. doing it all. He's going to get the bounce pass, tries to take the shot. He's going to end up drawing the foul, makes the basket, and has the chance for the three-point play to extend Memphis' lead, and Thybulle not happy about that one. But hey, what can you do? Time running out in the half. David Roddy passes to Kennard, who passes to Jackson Jr., who banks a catch-and-shoot 3 to put the Grizzlies ahead by 8 at the break. Moving to the third, Grant gets fed outside the arc, and that's a clean 3 to pull the Blazers within 3. Grant finishing the night with 27 points. Mays is going to dish it out to Shaedon Sharpe, and you can take that to the bank. Sharpe puts Portland ahead by 9, keeping that elusive first win out of reach for now for the Grizzlies. But Jackson Jr., who's been doing it all game, hits a slam dunk to tie things up at 100. And spoiler alert, the Blazers will not score for the rest of the night. Kennard hits Desmond Bane, who connects with Bismarck Biyombo, who hits a two-hand slam to put the Grizzlies up by 4. Great ball movement by the Grizzlies all game, especially in this play you're going to see right here. It's capped off by a three-pointer from Kennard. Memphis ended the game on a 14-0 run, and they get their first win, 112-100 over the Portland Trail Blazers, who now drop to 3-4. Well, Blake, I know we're really early into the season, just about 2.5, 3 weeks, but right now, who is your championship prediction?
So I think both sides, it's still wide open. Bucks have looked not great so far, but I think I'm going to go with the Bucks from the East, and it's a little surprising here. We could say the Nuggets. I mean, everybody wants to say the Nuggets. I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks coming out of the Western Conference. You know, the Mavs they had a great offseason. Adding Grant Williams, they drafted Derek Lively out of Duke, who is going to be hopefully a Jokic stopper. I mean, he was named ACC All-Defensive Team last year for Duke. It's a tough ask for a rookie. They also got Maxi Kleber if he can stay healthy. I really like them on the perimeter. I like them inside. They match up very well for Dallas. They match up against Denver very well.
Well, I know we said that this is going to be the year that Luka wins MVP, so I'd love to see Dallas Mavericks come out of the West, but I'm going to go with what everyone is saying. I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets. I mean, come on. No one has been able to stop Jokic. I mean, I don't think he's going to win MVP, but there's simply no one currently in the league who has been able to even stop him in the slightest. I mean, people are thinking the Suns right now, but that core of Beal, Booker, and Durant, they really haven't played together yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do. I mean, preseason, sure, they did well, they meshed well, but that's preseason. And the Spurs just upset the Suns. That showed a lot of weakness with them, so I don't think the Suns are going to come out of the West. And right now, I think that it's either the Celtics or the Bucks. The Bucks because of Damian Lillard, obviously. People are thinking, yeah, if they can figure it out. I think once Damian settles in, he's going to be okay. But the Celtics, they needed a really solid point guard over this offseason, so they got Drew Holiday, and that seemed to work out for them really well so far. So I think that it's either going to be the Celtics or the Bucks coming out of the East facing up against the Nuggets. But like I said, we're 2.5 weeks into this season.
A lot of time.
A lot of things are going to happen.
Celtics defense is looking nice though with Drew Holiday at the guard.
Absolutely, a lot of things are going to change. But like I said, with a lot of things changing, we recently had the trade of James Harden going to the Clippers. Massive trade on Halloween. Do you think this helps or hurts the Clippers?
So 2015 me is super excited to see the starting lineup for the Clippers. I mean, you got Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. I mean, on paper, that starting lineup could be insane, or they could all get really mad at each other really quick, especially with James Harden taking about half the dribbles for that team, probably.
Exactly.
I don't know if Kawhi and PG-13 is going to like that much. If they can figure out how to gel that lineup, I think they could be one of the most dangerous offenses in the league and potentially make a run for that Western Conference title. So I think in the long run, it could hurt them because that depth behind that starting lineup is just non-existent. But if that starting lineup can play like how they've been advertised, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
On paper, this is a juggernaut team. This is the super team of everyone's dreams. And on paper, it does improve their odds to win a championship, but I think it's going to hurt them. I simply think this is just a too many cooks in the kitchen situation. George, Leonard, Westbrook, lots of big personalities. Harden's on his 4th team in 22 months. We know he wanted to go to the Clippers, but I don't know if he's going to realize when he gets there, is this really what I wanted? And I think that odds are probably Leonard, George, maybe even Westbrook. One of them might be dished out before the trade deadline, and then once one personality's out of there, things might sort of settle down. They might become this amazing, insane team. But right now, I simply think that it's going to be too many people competing for minutes on the floor, and it's just they're not going to mesh well. But it'll make for some good press conferences.
I can't wait to watch some of those games. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Well, didn't you hear? Mr. Coffee Hour is back. Nico Crespo is in the studio for his sizzling hot takes.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
Good evening, coffee drinkers. I'm your host, Nico Crespo. I missed you guys last week, so it looks like I have some making up to do, and these takes will surely make up from me missing last week. We're going to start out on the hardwood with the Indiana Pacers. I think the Indiana Pacers can be a dangerous team in the East. In fact, I think they're going to be the 7th seed in the East, and they should easily make it into the actual playoffs, not just the play-in. When I was watching this team dismantle the Cleveland Cavaliers, I thought, wow, this team is fast. This is one of the most underrated teams in the NBA, and having talent like Tyrese Halliburton being the piece that they build around. The projections for this team had them around the 10 or 11 seed in the East. After a 3-3 start, they should be around the middle of the pack. Halliburton, the main player on this team, is on pace to average a double-double this year with 24 points per game and 12 assists per game. Reminds me of a prime Chris Paul. Let's talk about the pieces around him, why don't we? Miles Turner hasn't really lived up to his hype coming out of the draft, but averaging 17 points and 9 rebounds a game he's going to be the side cook to Halliburton. Buddy Hield is a dangerous threat from beyond the arc, and then Bruce Brown, who came from Denver this offseason for some depth. They have 7 players averaging over 10 points a game, and that's exactly what you want for your depth and bench pieces. The East needs to stop sleeping on this team and take them serious. I don't think they will go far in the playoffs, but they will be the 7th or 8th seed.
Is the back.
All right, and then we're going to talk about the Bills. You know, they lost last night to the Cincinnati Bengals, and the take here is they're not making the playoffs. And you're probably throwing your paper like you're Matt Corrali with the Corrali countdown, but we're going to talk about it real quick. Josh Allen, he has, I believe, 9 interceptions through week 10. Bills are 5-4 through week 10. They're 3rd place in the East, behind the Jets, who are playing right now. I believe they're down to the Chargers, so that might change. But the Dolphins are the division leader right now. They do have tiebreaker over it, but Josh Allen hasn't looked like himself, as I said. Has thrown an interception in 7 of his 9 games. The most interception Allen has had is 15 in a single year. He's on pace to break that. He has 9. He's thrown for 2,500 yards already, but I think he's a turnover machine. There's too many injuries on the defense as well. Let me name a few. Cornerback Khair Elam, he's on IR. D-tackle Daquan Jones, also on IR. Standout linebacker Matt Milano, also on IR. Pro Bowl cornerback Tre'Davious White, he's on season-ending IR, and then Micah Hyde got injured last night. And then there's just instability on the offense. Josh Allen not connecting with his receivers. Stephon Diggs being a diva like usual, not being happy, not getting the ball. Gabe Davis got to be that deep threat. You got to give Diggs the ball. You got to give him 7, 8, 9 times a game for that team to win. They're not making the playoffs. And this kind of leads into my next take, where the entire AFC North are going to make the playoffs. That's right. Even now, with the Bills losing and the projections have the Ravens winning the division, the Browns, Steelers, and Bengals are all getting wildcard spots. And how I see this happening is the Ravens, of course, winning the division, Browns 5 seed, Bengals in the 6th seed, and then the Steelers rounding out the AFC in the 7th seed. And I believe this is the most competitive division by far this year. Think of like the NFC East last year with the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and Commanders. Obviously, the Commanders dropped off at the end of the year. We're going to go team by team real quick. First, the Baltimore Ravens. Stellar defense, ridiculous offense, no holes except for the wide receiver room, but that doesn't really matter because Lamar Jackson's not human. There's Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr., and Rashad Bateman. You have Mark Andrews as your tight end. Lamar Jackson will make it happen. We're going to talk about the Browns now. Deshaun Watson, obviously he needs to perform well. He did that yesterday against the Cardinals, 19 for 30, 219 yards, a couple of tutties. The defense will hold its own, obviously, force the Cardinals an average 1 yard per play on Sunday. That's record-breaking, 1 yard per play. Obviously, Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. D-line, unreal. Corners, Ward, Emerson, Island, unreal. Third, the Bengals. Their defense really surprised me last night. Looks like Joe Burrow also finally woke up and really impressed me last night. I'm pretty sure he went 24 for 30, 250 yards or so, a couple of touchdowns. Joe Cool's back for good. It's kind of scary being a Browns fan, seeing him wake up, but you got to stay healthy. The calf, he had a little problem with his calf. He had to get a heat pad on it, but obviously it didn't seem too big of an issue. He beat the Bills easily. And then we're going to round out with the Steelers. This team somehow just finds ways to win. The Steelers that play in the first 3 quarters seem to be a shell of themselves, but once Renegade plays, it seems like they won't lose no matter the deficit. The offense is the definition of mid. Kenny Pickett, also the definition of mid. I don't understand what's going on with him. He makes some good throws, and then he has some awful decisions. His wide receivers aren't really helping him that much. George Pickens also getting the Stephon Diggs treatment, being a diva. Obviously, the running game hasn't been what they wanted. Najee Harris falling off a cliff from last year. And then Jaylen Warren, he's done a really good job of complimenting Najee Harris and his struggles. Then when you're talking about the Steelers, you're talking about the defense. TJ Watt, obviously, Defensive Player of the Year last year. Highsmith, great compliment him on the other side of the ball. But that's all I got time for tonight. It's time to get a little bit colder, so I'll kick it to Blake, Liv, and Della with the NHL. As always, coffee drinkers, keep sipping.
Thank you, Nico. Those were definitely worth the wait. Now let's take a look at the Blue Jackets as they were in Washington Saturday to take on the Capitals. The 38-year-old Alex Ovechkin has 8 points through 10 games as his Capitals are hosting the Blue Jackets. The Caps are going to get on the board first as Rasmus Sandin loses the puck, but Tom Wilson is right there to clean it up. So you watch this one again. There's a lot of Blue Jackets in the area. The defenders are there, but Wilson just skates past all of them and nets the goal. Columbus down 2-0 in the second. Puck's going to bounce around a bit in Capitals territory, and Marchenko with a quick shot from the outside gets it past the pads of Charlie Lidgren. As look at that, just getting it over that outstretched right peg, and that's all the Jackets could do as the Capitals win it 2-1 and improve to 5-4-1.
Hey Portage County, I'm Della Fowler, and grab your skates. Time to keep up and lace them up. Let's go around the NHL. And we're going to take it here. Wild, they need a win. They're hoping to rebound. Here come the Rangers, though. Up one, Tricek, Lafreniere, and take it. Who else? Artemi Panarin finds the 5-hole, and the Empire State is up 2. Rangers have scored on 2 of their 3 shots. Fleury, are you okay? Shesterkin's hurt, Johnny Quick's in the net, but the deception of the Wild are going to find the empty net on the left side, and Joel Eriksson sends it 1-goal game, people. Johansson's now going to go around the back of the net. Don't blink or you'll miss it. Matt Zuccarello tips it in, and we're all tied up, baby. Now, a good pass and a broken stick, sometimes all you need. Marco Rossi, not Margot Robbie, although I wish it was, gives the Wild the lead. But this guy, the lethal lefty, 8 goals in 11 games. Take a bow, Chris Kreider. We've got extra minutes, people, and they won't be enough good old-fashioned shootout time. Tricek versus Fleury, and he shows the home team what, everybody? You know, he'd be A-O-K. That's what I call a wild win.
Erik Karlsson is going to face up against his former team, the San Jose Sharks. This time he's on the Pittsburgh Penguins side. Getting things started, Pittsburgh is on the power play. Karlsson passes it to Riley Smith, and bartender, top shelf please, Smith with a killer wrist shot to the top of the net to put the Pens up 1-0. We jump to the second. Pittsburgh up 4-1, and Smith with a straight shot across the ice to Evgeny Malkin, who makes the goal while skating backwards. That takes some skill, ladies and gents. Just a gorgeous goal through the 5-hole to put Pittsburgh up 5-1. Pens on the breakaway. Sidney Crosby drops the puck back to Chris Letang, who gets it past Mackenzie Blackwood for his first goal of the season. Nikita Ahoychuk is put on skates literally and figuratively as Letang knocks it in. Matt Nito passes to Noel Acciari, who takes a shot, but it gets blocked. But here comes Nito to get the rebound and the goal. Magnus Chrono blocks that initially, but he doesn't see he's got Nito coming on the other side. Penguins lead 7-1.
A lot of scoring in the NHL, and the Vegas Golden Knights are going to keep that up. Let's head to the Sin City, where the undefeated Golden Knights looking to stay perfect against the Avalanche, and it's going to help out early on the power play as Brendan McNabb sets up Mark Stone for the goal. Jack Eichel also had 2 goals on the night, including this one off the break. Watch this one-timer from the right side, getting it past the opposite side of the goalie. Now, turnovers hurt the Avs bad tonight as William Carrier makes them pay off of some very unselfish passing by the Golden Knight forwards. Another power play goal for Vegas. Mark Stone sets up Jack Eichel. The two combined for 6 points on the night, and the Vegas crowd is loving it. This time, Mark Stone is going to score a shorthanded goal. They're just doing everything against the Avalanche, as the Knights and Vegas bettors are going to be very happy after all these goals. 41 saves for Aiden Hill as he records a 6th career shutout.
And in turn for me getting the longest hockey highlight this week, I also got the shortest one. Thatcher Demko's having a great season so far, and I'd say the Vancouver Blue Suits Pius Suter on the feed from Dakota Joshua. That's a goal, people. It's 1-0. Canucks in the zone again, passing around the back, feed from the left. It's gonna be too easy. Watch this, my friends. Elias Pettersson is God. A no-look pass and a stellar performance from Demko. His offense secures a Vancouver win against a very good Dallas team. Shutout number 2 on the season. Go Nucks.
Let's wrap this up. The New Jersey Devils facing the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's get into it from the blue line. Chicago's Wyatt Kaiser passes to Tyler Johnson, who tries for the blue net, but that's saved by goaltender Vitek Vanacek, but Taylor Hall is there for the rebound score. Chicago leads 1-0. New Jersey on the power play. Dougie Hamilton passes to Eric Howla, who shoots it to Dawson Mercer at the goal line. Mercer brings it in front of the goaltender for a wrist shot score, and we are tied at number 1. Mercer making a call to the toy department for this goal. Kevin Korchinski turns it over to New Jersey's Max Willman, who brings it down the ice. Willman is hustling for the score at the net, showing some serious speed to get the Devils up 2-1. Jumping ahead to the third period, John Marino brings it to the net and tries for a score, but it's saved by Marino. He's going to snag the puck and shoot it again, but this time Curtis Lazar will be there to sneak between the goaltender's legs. Lazar there to finish the job with a laser through the 5-hole to put New Jersey up 3-1. But Chicago will not go quietly. Jason Dickinson manages to get the puck away from the Devils behind the net. Andreas Athanasiou finds it and guides it to Ryan Donato for a score at the net, and we have a game. Chicago only down 1, but they end up pulling their goalie, and the Devils come away with a 4-2 win over the Chicago Blackhawks. Well, as we get deeper into the season, Della, who is struggling so far this season?
This isn't even an opinion at this point because the San Jose Sharks are objectively bad. They've allowed back-to-back 10-goal games and haven't won a game yet this season. They are having defensive problems, but they aren't scoring much, in fact, either. They're averaging 1.2 goals per game, and in most circumstances, a goal isn't going to win you a game, people. And with this and cap space, the only option is a rebuild. They got Will Smith last year at 4th overall, and right now they're sitting pretty to be back-to-back top picks in drafts.
Well, on the flip side, who is the juggernauts of the league so far?
It's got to be between Vegas and the Bruins. However, the Bruins take it from me. Yes, I know Vegas is undefeated. I don't want to talk about it. Pasternak is scoring like his life depends on it. But go with me on this, y'all. This is why the Bruins are better. The only way I can see things going south for them is Boston. They can't rely on Pasta being hot because nobody can really play that well for that long. Come on. And Bergeron's gone. They need offensive help. And we get down to the line, don't hate me, but I could totally see the Bruins trading Ullmark for scoring and relying on their goalie depth. He has a huge trade value after his Vezina season last year, and they can have blockbuster offense without the defense being that bad.
Well, we've got the bottom and we've got the top, but who is just horribly mid that just, shouldn't be?
Yeah, that's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. Last season, they finally won a playoff series, and they had some big pickups in the offseason with Bertuzzi and Klingberg, but they just aren't meshing. I'm worried about it. Austin Matthews is scoring at a goal per game pace, but if they're still under 500 when Matthews is doing that, something needs to change.
Well, thank you so much, Della. And hey, don't change that channel. Our award-winning segments are coming right up. Welcome back. It's now time to highlight my favorite story from the world of women's athletics from this past week with empowerment. And for empowerment this week, let's head on over to UNC to talk about their field hockey team, but specifically their coach. The first-year head coach who led the Tar Heels to their 7th consecutive ACC conference title is 23. Yes, 23-year-old Erin Matson. Matson graduated last December and a month and a half later took over coaching duties and finished her first season with a regular season record of 12-3. While she was a player, Matson helped her team win 4 NCAA championships and was the all-time scoring leader in both ACC history and the NCCA tournament play history. So it's safe to say that the team is in the best hands possible, and Matson is poised to help continue the Tar Heels dynasty. Matson now has the chance to be the first head coach to win the NCAA tournament in her first year. That action kicks off on Wednesday, and I, for one, am absolutely rooting for the Tar Heels and Coach Matson.
Well, welcome into Blake's Best Bets. We got 2 of them this week once again. I like Colts -1 versus the Patriots. Both of these teams have been up and down this season, but I think the Patriots are just worse than the Colts. And if it's just at -1.5, I'll take that all day. And on the other side, Texans versus the Bengals. Both these teams' offenses are clicking right now. I don't think there's going to be much defense in this game. I think 46.5 is too low of a line for this. I'm taking the over on that one. If you put 2 of those together, $10 can win you $36.13.
For my man on the Silver Mountain, it is the entire Kent State women's basketball team who came away with a massive 106-35 victory over Muskingum in their exhibition match on Sunday. Yes, You did hear that correct, 106 points. The Flashes led by as many as 73 points during the game, with 6 players scoring in double figures. Jenna Batch and Janae Tyler led the scoring with 14 points apiece, and grad student Michaela Morris racked up 11 boards in her first game for Kent State. Maya Babbitt and Bianca Juzo also got their first points as Golden Flashes. I mean, what else more can you say about this team? We knew coming into the season that they were a force to be reckoned with, and now we get to watch them prove that. This team is going to have a great season, and they started it off the right way on Sunday with that dominant win. Congrats, ladies.
And this week, my man on the Silver Mountain is Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell has been phenomenal for the Cavs, who have been dealing with injuries early this season, and Mitchell has averaged over 35 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists through 6 games. He's been one of the top scorers in the league, but now he's facilitating for the Cavs offense, which makes them even more dangerous. He illustrated that beautifully in the 115-104 win against the Warriors last night, the first dub over Golden State in a long time. Donnie finished with 31 points and 7 assists, but also played some stellar defense down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Donovan Mitchell, watch out, MVP caliber season on the way.
And that is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in.
For all sports updates, follow our socials at TV2 KSC Sports on X and Instagram.
I've been Liv Sharp.
And I'm Blake Goloja. Have a great night, everyone.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth.